Hi guys, welcome back to the show. This is going to be Check Fire Live episode 1. I'm going to be doing 2 of this show every single month, and it's going to be pretty much a little bit longer. I'm going to come here, sit down, talk for about 20-30 minutes, kind of give you some thoughts on some stuff that I've been thinking about, right? This show is supported completely by Patreon, so I appreciate my patrons. I mean, your support is fantastic, and definitely if you want to become one, there's a link down below. The show is actually recorded live on Patreon, and then it's posted in the JH6 channel. So if you're watching in the JH6 channel, you could definitely support the channel by liking, sharing, and obviously subscribing to the channel. It is fantastic. We definitely appreciate that. I'm planning to do 2 of this a month, so stay tuned because we got a lot of more stuff coming up. I'm watching here. Big Mo is in the house. Pastor Chow is in the house watching live. Patrons of the channel. And we definitely appreciate you guys' support. So the topic is going to be, who are we fighting? And this is an interesting topic to me because, you know, I tend not to go so much into the guns, you know. Really, frankly, guns doesn't really excite me too much. I mean, I like shooting, don't get me wrong, and I like weapons, and I like firearms, and I like taking, you know, going to the range with Tactical Man and some of you guys, and I mean, I love shooting, no doubt about that, but I always try to have my channel into a different I guess into a different environment, if you want to call it that, into something else. You know, I like to be more into the prepping and survival and stuff like that. That's what I like to talk about. That's kind of what excites me because, like I always say, you know, we are the weapon. Us are the weapon. Everything else is a tool, right? The way we think, the way we conduct ourselves, the way that we walk, the way that we do things is really truly was going to keep us alive. So here's the deal. Who are we fighting? And I'm going to share a couple of personal things here in the channel for some of you guys. You know, some of the Patreon guys, you guys have heard about this. But again, I'm going to share some of the things that is personal to me. And to me right now, the biggest threat is my weight. And, you know, some of you guys are going to be like, what? You know, we're talking about who we're fighting, and you're thinking about, you know, a criminal, a guy breaking into your house, a guy doing this, and here I am talking about my weight. And essentially, that's what it is. Since I left the military, since I left the Marine, I gained a ton of weight. Really did. I gained over, I don't know, like crazy amount. I won't even tell you because the trolls out there. And that's kind of slowing me down. You know, I just don't feel the same. I'm not the same person. I'm heavier, so I get tired faster. You know, I'm not as strong as I used to be. I don't move as fast as I can move. You know, I mean, I call it my sweet potatoes. My sweet potatoes are hurting for standing all day. My tactical love handles are getting on the way. You know, my weight is getting on the weight. So when we look at this, who are we fighting for? Who are we fighting? I mean, it's beyond the guy, you know, breaking into your house. Check it out. Vulnerability assessment. That's something that I actually was formally trained on. For some of you haters out there, formally trained in a job that I did in Afghanistan, where I was able to go into a base and I was able to look at the base and identify vulnerabilities and identify things that were wrong, identify ways that the enemy was going to exploit in order to attack the Marines, right? So how do we translate that into the civilian life, and how do we translate that into just being, you know, just being a person, right? You know, some of you guys out there, obviously this is not combat, right? So how do we translate that? It's going to be simple. You got to look at your self-defense plan and realize what is going on that is right, what is going on that is wrong. That's essentially what you're doing, a vulnerability assessment. And part of that assessment is going to be, who's your enemy. You know, let me give you some examples. Your enemy can be your weight. And I said it, you know, just me talking. And again, this is not to criticize anyone. I mean, we talk about survival here. So as we talk about survival, we got to be truthful, you know, in a way. We really got to sit down and say, you know what is the best way to protect our family? And it may be that, in my case right now, that's what it is. I mean, really, how many pistols can I have in there? Really, how many pistols? You know, really, how many ARs? Really, how many shotguns? How many rounds? I mean, really, at one point, you can only carry one gun and one rifle, right? Big shout out to Lack and Loader Nolan's in the house. Big shout out to you, sir. I got two mouths in here, so I'm confused on which one I'm using. So again, you got to be able to identify that. Who is the enemy? The enemy could be your weight. The enemy could be diabetes. Again, I come from a family that has diabetes. My mom has diabetes. My brother has diabetes, and really bad, actually. He's a young guy. I mean, I'm 36, he's 40 years old, and he has diabetes really bad. Now, I rebuked that curse in Jesus' name. I'm not going to have that because I could rebuke it, and you guys know about that. But again, I don't have to be stupid about it either. If I watch my weight, I could potentially stay away from that, high blood pressure, things like that, what you eat, your cholesterol. So your enemy is not just the guy that is going to break into your house or the active shooter. I mean, there is way more than that. So again, a vulnerability assessment, that's when you come down and you assess who are we fighting. Maybe you live, I got a subscriber here. He's from I want to say Chicago. And man, I mean, it's really bad where he stays. Really, really bad. Really bad. He talks about it in the comments all the time. He says how, hey, you know what? I mean, it is so bad that people are getting, shot outside the house, right? My wife, she was raised in Newark, New Jersey, and it was so bad. My father-in-law got hold at gunpoint like twice, right in front of his house. I'm talking like right in front, right? So again, your enemy could be your neighborhood. Maybe it's time to move. Maybe you need to find a different place because it's really, really bad where you're staying. So again, you got to be able to identify that stuff. Your enemy could be a capability or not a vulnerability, disability. A disability that you have that you can do nothing about it, guys. You really can't. If you were born a specific way, or this happened to you, and you know what, now you can't do something because of whatever, that could be your enemy. So again, you got to be able to identify that. What is it? It's not just about the tools. It's not about the who has the coolest gun. It's not about none of those things. I've been saying this for quite some time. And you know what? I come here into YouTube and I don't see so many people talking about it, quite frankly. And the reason why is because you really don't get too many views on these topics. People don't want to listen about this. People want to see new guns coming out. And I totally get it. But again, to think that just because you have 10 guns, you have the best self-defense plan, you're completely wrong. Your enemy could be your mindset. The way you think. Do you guys know how many people I have talked to, really have talked to, that tell me I have a gun, but I'm not going to carry the gun because if I carry my gun, I'm probably going to shoot someone, or I probably won't use it, or I hear that probably once every, 2-3 times a month, just talking to people and people telling me things like that. I have a gun, but I'm not going to use it because once again, I just can't do it. So again, in that type of situation, his enemy is the mindset that he has. Your enemy could be the lack of knowledge about that, guys. Lack of knowledge, or maybe the lack of willing to train, or maybe the lack of willing to listen. Pastor Charles in the house. Big shout out to him. But Pastor Mike, I remember a while ago, he did a video on unteachable people that just don't learn, and that's completely something that I never want to be. I always want to be a sponge. I want to be open to information. I want to be open to gather as much information as I can. I want to be open to learn. I don't care how it is. I don't care who I am. I don't care if I'm I've been in the Marine Corps. I spent 11 years in the Marine Corps. I want to learn. That's how I am. I remember a guy named Sergeant Hayek. He's probably like a captain by now. He was a gunny at one point too. And Hayek was in charge of us in 2004 in Iraq. And one of the things that he had was that he was ready to listen and to learn. So again, the spirit that he has, the way that he conducts himself was really good. He was a sergeant. He could have been like, and tell people what to do, but instead he was listening. So what is your enemy? Maybe I should name this video, what is your enemy? Because I keep talking about that. What about your neighbor? your neighborhood. I talked about that already, but maybe your neighbor. I got to tell you guys, this city right here where I live is actually a nice city. But I cannot tell you how many times in that other house that I used to live that I would get to my house with my kids and I just smell people smoking weed and I see like weird cars going into that house. Again, maybe the guy was selling drugs. Who know? I mean, right next to my house. My children are there. So again, you never know. One of those guys, it's very common for people to be like, all right, you know what? I don't have money. I know you're selling drugs. I'm going to go into your house and, breaking and steal your drugs and shoot you, whatever. Maybe the guy makes a mistake, goes into the wrong house. Next thing you know, I find myself in that type of situation. So it is what it is. So here's the deal. I want to give you some tips here to kind of like not just identify that, but just a couple of tips here that I want to share with you guys. Now that you identify that, now that you looked at your plan, now that you looked at your body, now that you looked at your self-defense plan, now you looked at what you're doing and you identify that vulnerability, again, you just got to fix it. Like I said, I was talking about my diet. I don't know if you guys noticed. Some of you guys have. I had lost about 26 pounds in the last 2 months. A couple of guys put it in the comments. I appreciate that. You guys noticed. Thank you. But I lost about 26 pounds. I'm doing something called a keto diet, and it's really good. It's a low carb. Now, I haven't done it really strict, but actually, I'm going to start doing more strict now because I want to continue to lose weight. But I've been following a low carb diet. It's working out, right? So again, in some other cases, you may have to implement something. You may have to buy something. So again, maybe you identify, and I talked about this in the past. You identify the fact that the gun that you carry is not reliable. Now you got to buy a better gun. I mean, that's just simple, right? You buy a better tool. Maybe you identify that your home defense plan is lacking because of something. Then you buy that. I got to tell you now. Just recently, Matthew's in the house. What's up, buddy? Just recently, we had a hurricane a few months ago, and I actually identified some things that I needed that doesn't even follow in the cool people reviews or cool and you too. Like extension cords. Who talks about extension cords? But you know what? If you don't have an extension cord to run that generator way away from your house, guess what, guy? You could die because if you run a generator inside your house or close to your house, you could kill your family. And again, if you look at a hurricane, it was not Matthews, Irma that passed by, about 4 to 5 people die from generators. Really, really something that you really don't think about it, right? What about fuel cans? I have fuel cans now. Water cans, things like that. Obviously, we talk about the basic food and water, but no one thinks about an extension cord, or at least I didn't. I mean, I have my regular one that I have in the garage, but now I have a better one. So again, that allowed me to identify that, and again, allow me to buy that, right? So again, that's just simple. When it comes like that, when it's just buying something, I mean, you just write it down in your list. I'm not rich. I'm just like some of you guys. Probably many of you guys have more money than me, so I'm not rich by no means. So again, I have to write it down, and as time comes, I buy the items that I need, right? Another way that I was going to mention too, not buying, but another way will be just simply changing your tactic. So again, changing your tactic may be just implementing a different way to do things, right? And again, maybe you're doing something. I'll give you an example. Maybe you're reloading your pistol, but you're not really reloading a good way. Somebody teach you how to do a better way, and you start doing that because it's better, because it's best. So again, you identify that vulnerability, and you find ways to fix it. Sometimes you have to buy stuff, and sometimes you just got to simply change a procedure that you already have. So let me look at here some of my notes. I think I covered pretty much everything. So again, here's the deal, guys. Who are we fighting? We really got to sit down and think about this. We really got to sit down. If you're watching live, put some comments, and I'm going to address some of the comments if you guys have comments about this topic specifically. And let me put some of the chats here for some of you guys watching. There it is. So again, let me give a couple of shout outs here. Big Mo's in the house, Pastor Chow, Nolan's in the house, uh, and Matthew, Semper brother, fellow Marine brother in the house. So I appreciate you guys supporting the channel. I really, really appreciate it. You guys know that. So again, it's just gonna be simple. We really gotta sit down, and we really gotta sit down and think about it. Just Matthew just put a good comment here. Full Spectrum Survival. What an awesome channel. Actually, I talked to Brad. We text all the time. We were texting the other day about his new place that he has and all that stuff. But again, you know, skills and gears is totally different. I tend to watch bushcraft a lot because I don't know anything about it. Like I don't really know how to make a fire. I mean, I know now and I could do it, but I'm not an expert on that. I don't really know how to process meat. So again, we could go into prepper groups and things like that. That's totally different topic. But again, I tend to watch things that I enjoy, that educate me. I don't need to, learn how to shoot and move to the house with a pistol. I mean, I'm not the best. I'm not no super expert, but I have the fundamentals. I have the basic. I can do it, right? I did it in combat. I could do it. I know that. But again, you give me a squirrel or something and you tell me, hey, remove the skin and cook this. And I'll be like, what? So I need to watch that to educate myself, right? So that's kind of like the point when it comes to this, guys. That's my vulnerability. My vulnerability may be a lack of skills in that area. So how do I fix that? Well, one, I could get somebody like Full Spectrum Survivor to be part of my team. So that's going to fix that, right? Two, I could learn myself. So it's just that's how it is. Big Mo say I am my own worst enemy when it comes to my weight. Excuse me. Yeah, man, me too. I got to tell you, man, I went into really when I started gaining weight, leaving the Marine Corps, I really got sad about it. And the more I gained weight, the more I ate. Really did. And the more that I gained weight, and it was just like an evil cycle that I continued to gain weight. But then one day I was like, you know what? Boom, I got to stop. I really got to stop. And that happened maybe about a month and a half. You guys on Patreon, you guys see me putting updates on Discord. If you haven't joined the Discord app, you really need to, because we share a lot of information there. But I've been putting my weight status in there, and I don't do that to brag or anything. I do that so you guys could, first of all, you guys motivate me to continue, but second of all, it kind of holds me accountable for that. It holds me accountable to do those things. So again, let me know if you guys got any comments in here. I'm about to wrap this up here, this screen. And really wanted to come here and share this information. I've been thinking about this for quite some time. I think it was a good topic. If you're watching the JH6 channel on the replay, definitely put comments down below. Let me know what you think. Really do. Let me know what you think. Let me know what's your enemy. Again, like I say, it doesn't have to be Russian people or Chinese people coming from the sky or liberals. It may be something as simple as diabetes. Like I said, my family has diabetes, and it runs in the family, and it could potentially be something that if some of the guys have diabetes, you lose weight, you could have it under control. So it's not really about that guy breaking into your house or the government coming to steal your guns and take your ammo. It may be as simple as, maybe I need to drop 20 pounds to gain 20 more years. I mean, it's that simple. Again, hurricanes, some of you guys in different states, some guys deal with snow. Some guys deal with hurricanes. Some guys deal with tornadoes. I remember a good friend of mine, a person that I knew. He lost his family on a tornado, and it was really bad. But again, it may be something as simple as lack of social skill. Like Matthew here saying, I'm trying to network with other people in my area to build skills I lack. I mean, that's fantastic, man. I got people that I know in my group, my close group, that we could depend on each other and we could take care of each other. But again, it may be some people don't have desire that you have. Some people don't really want to talk. Some people don't want to share information. Some people don't want to go out there. Some people don't have the their way to start a conversation. I know guys that don't even start a conversation, and because of that, they don't even meet people, and they can't build a team, they can't build friends, and it's just the lack of social skills is a little bit out there right now. I could be grumpy too, but that's that's the Marine in me. So again, appreciate you guys watching. This is gonna be who we are fighting. Who are we fighting? Check Fire Live, episode number 1. We're gonna record episode number 2 soon. So if you guys watching on YouTube, definitely stay tuned. Share the video, or like the video, all that. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Become a patron, because I appreciate that. And as always, guys, God is in control.